Good afternoon, friends.
Good afternoon.
All right. Talk to me, somebody. As one of our founders, George Wright, said, never punish the people who came early for the people that come late. But I want to get started early and on time so when we can end the meeting the same day that we came. And we've got a long way to go today at this end of the year event. As today we have this luncheon, during the day, and for the first time this evening, we're going to have our end of the year Christmas reception that will be hosted by radio personality Ramonski Love and others. And so there's a whole lot of folk who always say you have stuff during the day, but you never have things in the evening for people to come. So we're going to go into next year being positioned for those who can make it during the day, and we'll have those networking opportunities for those who come in the evening as we continue to build and structure the organization. And so for those that do not know me, my name is Mark Allen. I'm the chairman of National Black Wall Street Chicago. And some people say, what is that? And I'm glad people ask. I'll say it again. As Otis Monroe and others will tell you, we was in a funders meeting, and every Monday I would have role play. And what is that? They said, well, Mr. Allen, you say the same thing every Monday. We got this. Every Monday you say the same thing over and over. We got this. So I think I forgot the funder's name, but they finally believed in our mission and were going to give us $2,500 as a seed. And so the person who said, I got this, you say the same thing every day. So her first assignment, Otis said, never do that again. Her first assignment was just to go to the meeting and close and bring back the check. The funder calls back saying, you better come get this. And I said, well, what happened? She couldn't say the same thing you said. And so there's nothing wrong with rehearsing, going over your checkpoint to checkpoint to checkpoint so that you're properly structured, focused, and positioned. But quite simply today, friends, National Black Wall Street Chicago is just based on the premise that it ain't new, but in the spirit of our ancestors of Tulsa, they use their own mind, their own vision, their own dollars, and use that money to buy and run their own land, run their own business, and control the economy of their own communities. And now here we are, 96 years later, in majority black communities that we can't control. And it don't mean that we can't. It means you got to go back and replant those seeds. And so people always tell me you preach too much, but sometimes you heard me, but you weren't listening. Or you were listening and didn't hear me. Either way, we've got to go back to rebuilding what my late godmother, the Reverend Willie Barrow, said here about a month or two before she died. She sat right here in that seat and said, son, listen, here is your leadership challenge. Because our community is not so much divided as it is disconnected. And you've been around and served long enough to go and try to reconnect these dots. And it won't be easy, but you've served long enough and you've seen enough that you've lived through. That you got to go back and take that to your people. Because here you are, 96 years later, you're in a majority black community. The black community spends $50 billion in Chicago economy. And you keep praying to God for a prayer he already answered. Every Monday somebody died. And Reverend Barrow said, son, you got to go tell our people that you will never stop the physical violence in our community until you stop the economic violence. And it's economically violent for black folk to be spending $50 billion and you steady crying every day wondering why our children don't have a place to work when God already gave you the money. So we got to come back and replant those seeds that we know we can do and structure, focus, and position ourselves. And that's what we're going to do. And we're going to talk more about that as we build capacity to develop our own communities. And we have partnerships like you're going to hear about today from Jamie Reed, from the Chief Procurement Officer. Never seen so many folk all text and tweet all day. Can't get no contracts. Can't get no contracts. Here's what's wrong with the city. And you're too busy to come and meet with the woman who runs the whole thing. They didn't texting me who's there. Your self wasn't here. And so we got to build with folk that are serious. And so we're serious about what we do. And so one of the partners that we have, we know she's got to go, but I appreciate her presence. All the way Pat Down and I go back many, many years in this community. This ain't the first time we've got together and structured and focused in position, but you got to have people to show our folk how to do it. And so, and it's all about economics. 90% of our brothers and sisters that are in the county jail, 90% of them are there because they get caught doing something illegal, trying to do what? Solve the economic problem. And so we can go back like we used to. We've already proven we got the money, but somebody got to go back and not be afraid to walk amongst the people and educate the people and build those partnerships and build the capacity. Because as the commissioner will tell you, money's there. You've already got the money, and we've got to build the capacity. Nothing we can't have and can't build here. And so it's good to have relationships and partnerships that can help fuel the right kind of collaboration. And so today, I thank God for Willie Barrow and everything that she did for me in raising me in this movement. And she made sure, along with Reverend Jackson, I had an opportunity to work with so many of Dr. King's staff. Rosa Parks and Emmett Till's mother, so many others. You know, I've lived this. And so as my mother told me before she died, she said, son, don't worry about me. I've already talked to God about this, and I'm all right. What I need you to do is get back to that office and do the work. And so in these challenging times, I want to talk to my mama right about now, but those that have been through this know, you'll know that moment when you felt that spirit come hit you until you get up and do what you do. And so with that, I want to bring up a longtime friend and supporter of me and this organization, and so much of what we're doing to build in this anchor community. And I said it's all about relationships, knowing one another, and having somebody trust and invest in what you do. And so Alderman Pat Down was here with us. You know, I get Pat, when somebody call me elder, I get lost. I'm getting used to somebody calling me elder, so if I'm an elder.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you, Mark. I'm sorry I have to, even in this case, I'm not going to be able to like eat and run, but I'm going to just stop here. I want to wish everybody a happy holiday season, Merry Christmas, Happy Kwanzaa, whatever you celebrate. Thank you so much for continuing to support Black Wall Street here on 47th Street. I just wanted to come here today to actually acknowledge a friend, Jamie Reed, yes, who is the Commissioner of the Department of Procurement for the City of Chicago. Jamie has a really hard job because the expectations from both the African Americans in the city and the Latinos in the city and other minority groups is that they want a fair shot at city contracts, at city opportunity, and they want to be able to see that at the end of the year. And while we have seen our numbers increase, we're not comfortable with where we are. We want to go even further. And I want to just tell you that in Jamie, you have somebody who is genuine about the commitment to go further to help business growth and development in our communities. And she's put some things in place to help companies try to develop capacity, have early warning about contracts coming down the pipe, whether they're construction contracts or professional services contracts. She meets with the Black Caucus and other caucuses, the Women Caucus, about the improvements that she's making in the city. She is a friend of our community, and I just wanted to say that. I also wanted to, it's not my time on the schedule, but I want to just toot my horn a little bit about some things that have happened since I was last before you. It's kind of hard sometimes for contractors, construction contractors, to have opportunities to build in places like the Loop or the South Loop, where we have not had that experience. And we just approved, my office just approved a 76-story, multi-million-dollar development that is going to be built at the corner of Roosevelt and Indiana, designed by a world-renowned architect whose office is in New York. The developer has agreed to do a joint venture partnership with an African-American construction firm to actually build that development. That firm is a friend of our community named Ujama, and that means not just a contract for that company, but any other subcontractor that has the capacity to work on different parts of that development that Mr. Jimmy Akindele will oversee. Akintonde. He always Jimmy. That he can oversee, and that also means jobs for people in the community. We also have some work being done at 43rd and Calumet. We're building the Idea Pendleton Park. That is being done with African-American subcontractors and even some employment from people who live in this community doing that work. So I'm proud of the work that we're doing here. I don't talk about that a lot. You're not going to hear that a lot on WVON or see it in the newspapers. But I'm glad to have the opportunity to come to places like Black Wall Street, National Black Wall Street, to be able to tell you the story of some things that are happening in the 3rd Ward so that you don't hear from elsewhere. You get it wrong. So with that said, I wanted to wish you all again a happy holidays. The table looks beautiful, Mark.
You sure do.
And just wish you all well. And Jamie, thank you for all you do, and thank you for coming out to the 3rd Ward today.
Thank you.
We gotta make Mark put the mic down.
Yeah. That's hot. Tag it.
Give all down another hand, would you? Now I was trying to get this right up here, and I didn't know what to do, chair thing. I mean, but I just want to tell you about, she is genuine. Jamie Reed is commissioner. And one of the things that we've done and are going to do for those that are here, because she's not just talking about things that are happening, she's prepared these booklets and all of that you can take this stuff with you, that walks you through how to access what other folks on the radio saying ain't there. And so it's good that you all are here so that you know. We don't know when they're bidding. It's in the packet. We got to wait till it comes online. No, you don't. But we don't know when they're bidding. It's all in the book. And so you're leaving here with that, so don't take that for granted, because there's nothing you can't do to access. And so other people can go march and do what they do, and I'm all with that. Somebody's got to come back and do the work.
Amen.
So you've got a 35% black city. And 30 years after Harold Washington, we went from 30% of black contract down to 8%. So go march, I'm with that. But at the same time, who's going to be doing the work to get us back up from 8% to 10% and move our folk forward? That's us. And it means doing work. There's nothing we can't do when we know what the rules are. And you got the right kind of partnerships. And so, yes, we've come to claim the land. With the help of Citibank, they put up a $5 million loan fund. But they just ain't going to hand it to you. You got to come to the workshop and build your capacity.
That's right.
Because as they told me, you know, Mark, you're a target. So since you know you're a target, then be smart enough to know on the front end. Go get your books in order. Don't matter how good you talk. Don't matter who you save. All people want to know is, are your books in order? And so with that, we're blessed to have a legendary warrior with us who's helping us put our books in order. so we can do the kind of things we need to do in terms of this work. Give Sister Willie Allen a big hand with you. And so we're going to be doing a whole lot of things and a lot of work. So we need y'all to stay tuned. Make sure you stay connected to our website and the page as we start our next year newsletter. As we start informing folks. Sometimes you can't call everybody all the time. Go to the site so you can stay up to date with what's going on. That's going to be made exclusively for you. All right? So that's what partners are. But in terms of doing this, you can't just wake up and see new contracts. You've got to know the process. You've got to have access. And you've got to have real people that do real things. And so I'm moved by Commissioner Reed. And I'm really more moved because when I heard she hurt her arm, I just knew she wasn't coming. She just needed that excuse. She said, no, I'm coming anyhow. And so we're glad to have her here. And so I want her to be able to let you know all the things that are going on in the procurement department.